Coming out stories.
Hi, my name is Joey, and I'm going to tell you my story um, about coming out for this channel. Um, I've had some reservations about this because I like to keep my life a little bit private. However, I feel that this is for a good cause, and if it's going to help out you, whoever's watching this, if you're struggling and you're having a hard time with coming to terms with who you are, that maybe you can find some hope in this video. And I really want you to just sit back and listen and just understand. I'm going to say this at the very beginning, that everything is going to be okay. And I want you to know that I'm still here. I'm 25 years old and I'm still here and I've made it through. And I know you will too. I'll start from the beginning. Um, Usually, the first question I get whenever I tell someone that I was gay, or whenever I told someone I was gay, was, how did you know you were gay? When did you know you were gay? I would say I knew I was gay when I was very, very young. I kind of had um, an idea that I was different. I didn't exactly know what was different about me, but I felt different from other boys. And then in high school, that's when I started going through puberty. Middle school and high school, I started going through puberty, and then things started to really click in my mind, and I started noticing that I was more attracted to guys than I was girls. Um, and it was a little tough because I found out what it meant to be gay, and um, it kind of put a voice in the back of my head said, "This isn't what is normal, so therefore you should not express it." And I held back for a long time um, until I had my first relationship when I was 16. It lasted only a month, but I learned a lot about myself from it, and it was a little rough because I wasn't out to my parents, I wasn't out to anybody really, um, and the guy I was seeing kind of started telling other people about me and him, about him and I should say, and then it started getting back to people in my school, and then people started saying things behind my back. They started talking about me. I was one time in my locker, and as a couple of kids were passing by, they go, "There's that fag." But that was really the worst of it. I never got really physically bullied. There wasn't a lot of verbal bullying, um, but I mean, nothing to do with my sexuality. Like, I mean, I was bullied, but it wasn't anything to do with me liking guys. It was more to do with me being just a little bit weird. But that's besides the point. So when I was dating this guy when I was 16, he he told people in my school, and they found out. And then I felt really pressured because I was just kind of like, all right, well, you know, how do I get through this without being made fun of or whatever? And then I don't know. I just started telling a couple people, and it it helped a little bit to like open up and um, show people who I really was, people I trusted. And then, I mean, that went pretty well, I want to say. So it wasn't. It was difficult just opening the door. Just like opening the door and stepping out and showing who you are to people. And I feel like it's gonna be tough in the beginning for most people, but it's in the long run, it's gonna work out, and I hope you believe in your heart that it will. Um, so when I came out to my friends, um, they were pretty accepting of it. And then the guy I was dating, we broke up, and I was emotionally devastated because um, I felt that I was never going to find somebody again, and it hurt me because it was a breakup, but it was also a breakup, and I was also forced out of the closet, which was tough because I wanted to do it at my own pace. So then, being emotionally hurt and not knowing who to go to, I wanted to reach out to my parents. And I had a feeling, based off of the relationship between my father and I, that he would probably be okay with it. He wouldn't disown me. And that's something I feel like can be very scary too, is worrying about, will my parents still love me? Will my family still love me? Um, However, I kind of went off my gut feeling, and I just said to my dad. At first, I came out as bisexual, because I felt like it might be a little bit more accepted rather than saying I'm homosexual. And I asked my dad. I go, Dad, what would be the one thing that would cause you to not love me? And he said to me, if you told me you were gay. That made my heart sink a little bit. And then I was just like, you know what, I just have to do it. I just have to say it. I was like, okay, well, I'm bisexual. And his face turned white and his jaw kind of dropped. And he told me, you know what, let's get something to eat. Where do you want to go? I'll take you anywhere you want to go. We'll talk about this. So he took me out to a Chinese restaurant, and we sat down and we talked. And he said, you're my son. I will love you no matter what. I just can't accept it. That was a little bit more disappointing than if I were to be completely disowned, because at least I would know where we stand. However, I'm grateful that it happened the way it did. So he said to me, I need to tell your mother. And that got me really worried, because my mom tends to be more traditional. She's not completely religious, but she still has a traditional way of thinking. And I was just like, Dad, can we just not tell her right away? So time passed, and then eventually he's like, Joe, you have to tell her. So I told her, and sure enough, she freaked out. All her hopes and dreams that she had of me getting married and having kids and giving her grandchildren just flew out the window, and it devastated her. So I just I didn't really know how to handle it, and she was in denial for the longest time. My dad wasn't in as much denial, but my mom was in denial for the longest time, and to the point where it got it got a little bit too close for comfort, and I felt very uncomfortable discussing it with her. Then time passed, a couple of years, started seeing another guy. We broke up. I was hurt. My mom tried. She did try, and she said she couldn't do it. And that was when I was 19, so from 16 to 19, she was still struggling a lot. My dad, I still love you. Not sure if I can accept it right now. Then my brother, he got upset. More because he was worried about me. And he was worried about me getting hurt. Sorry. And he was worried about what other people would think of him and of me. He's okay with it. Not sure if he's very comfortable with it, because he doesn't understand it. And I don't blame him. I love him. He loves me. We're brothers. Time passed. Met another guy. Had a rocky relationship. My dad was coming to terms with a lot more. My mother, she was worried more about me getting my education in college and graduating. She didn't really want to talk about it. So for the longest time, it was a bit of a don't ask, don't tell kind of situation. And uh, it gradually, when I say gradually, I mean like glacially, like glacially, glacial pace, in which it went from I am not accepting it, I don't accept this is wrong. Eventually, I'm 25 years old now. My parents are supportive. They're not crazy about it. My dad's a little bit more supportive than my mom, but my mom is working through it. We had actually we had birthday cake yesterday. My birthday was on Tuesday, and and yesterday I went to the city to meet some really amazing people, and I took pictures with a couple of girls, and my mom jokes around with me all the time about they can turn me. So jokingly, I smacked her on the back of the head, just like a little tap. It was like, no, it's like don't do that, don't say that. And you know, there was actually a point in the past when she said she wanted me to come to church for Christmas because it's tradition. We always go. And she told me, like, I want you to come. I would really appreciate it if you came. And I said to her, why would I go somewhere where I'm not accepted? And she said to me, and this gets me emotional, Joey, God loves you no matter what. He doesn't care if you're gay. Just come to church. And that provided me with a lot of reassurance. Because I never thought it would get to that point in our relationship where she would say that. And I know my mom isn't perfect, and she loves me no matter what. And my dad, my dad said to me one time, I knew you were gay since you were little. It wasn't really a surprise to me, just a bit of a shock because I didn't want to believe it. I used to run, and my wrists are a little bit limp. And he's like, you used to run, and your wrists would go flopping all over the place. And he would say to my older brother, his son from another marriage, better straighten those wrists, kid. But he knew, and he loves me, and he has always loved me. My mom loves me, I know she does. And I'm very happy with my parents. Our relationship is just as any other person's relationship would be, whether you're straight or gay, or my sexuality has nothing to do with how well I get along with them. And they're very, it's been a journey. And there are times where I wanted to just break down and I wanted to just end it. I just wanted to stop feeling what I was feeling, the pain of being different. But I told myself, you'll get through this. You're strong. You're a survivor. You were born a survivor. You will be a survivor. You will make it through. And if you ever feel this way, if you ever feel that you're not going to make it, that you can't make it, that there's no hope for you, you're completely wrong. And I'm telling you right now, you're wrong. And I will fight to the death to prove you wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with being who you are. No matter what anybody in this world says to you, you're beautiful. You have a soul. Your blood is red. You are who you are. Your sexuality should not define you. Who you are should define you. The choices you make in this life should define you. The person you are, whether you're nice to somebody, you hold the door open, you give up your seat for someone on the train who's pregnant or handicapped, those define who you are. Not your sexuality, not who you sleep with at night, not who you marry. So, understand that, believe that, and live your life. Be you. Stop worrying. If you ever meet me, and if you ever need a hug, I will give you the biggest hug in the world. And I will tell you it's going to be okay. You're fine. I promise you. I went through a journey. Some people have harder journeys than others. There's always a way to get through it. If you find that you do come in contact with a family that doesn't accept you at all, you have friends. Friends are just as much a family as parents and brothers, cousins, sisters. Reach out. There are resources. There are places you can go. Don't be ashamed for being who you are, okay? Because it's not worth feeling ashamed. Because life is so beautiful, it's so precious, and there's so much out there that your sexuality is only a fraction of who you are. So, that's my story. That's how I feel in the matter. Go at your own pace. Believe in yourself, trust in yourself, and fight. Because you are beautiful, you are worth it, and you will make it through. God bless.